It is two men the other side and a single man on this side. Well, we are not on a path of war. It gives me a real great pleasure in interacting with these two great minds, Damodar Mauzo and poet Jayant Kaikini. Before I proceed to the other proceedings, I like to give a short introduction of both of them. To start with Damodar Mauzo, short story writer, novelist, critic and script writer in Konkani language. He was awarded Sahitya Akademi Award 1983 for the novel Carmeline. Damodar Mauzo is a activist by nature. I have a reason to say so. Way beyond in the 60s, when Goan liberation movement was on, he worked for the liberation, and he also worked for keeping Konkani as the state language of Goa. He also worked for giving Goa a separate statehood. I think because of efforts like him, we have a homeland, home state to call as our own, Goa. And Konkani, which is our language, we can say it is the official language which is put on the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution and has been duly recognized. Its literature has been duly recognized. Damodar Mauzo Bab, we really grateful for your those struggle during those years. And recently, I mean, today's discussion is basically on the book Ink of Dissent. He's a very versatile writer who doesn't mince words when as to talk truth. He has been the voice of reason in all of his writings. Damodar Mauzo Bab, we welcome you to this short interaction. The other interacting person is Jayant Kaikini. He's a Kannada poet, short story writer, columnist and playwright. With his six short story volumes, 5 poetry collection and 3 collections of non-fiction and 3 plays to his credit. It is also much sought after award-winning lyricist, script and dialogue writer for Kannada films. He's very much Konkani, born in the coastal and temple town of Gokarna, which is not far away from here. And more importantly, recently in January, he has been awarded with the greatest prize for literature, South Asian DSC prize for South Asian literature. If I can just tell you the prize amount, I think you are able to know its prestige. $25,000 US. And this is the first time he comes to Mangalore to meet us, especially after getting that prize. I mean, I am looking forward to having a good time with you. Jayant Bab, we welcome you to this. For the next 45 minutes or so, we'll just create a beautiful world for us and also beautiful world for the people who are seated around. Mauzo Bab first. You have been a Konkani activist. For the benefit of us, how was your moment of Konkani as an activist, as a person who advocated the statehood of Goa during those initial years? Because the present generation and mostly like us, we wouldn't know what was it like then. So if you can shed light on that part of your struggle.
Well, thank you, Williams. I'm very proud to be by the side of my young friend, Jayant. And of course, Sardar Sahib is here in the presence of all Konkani lovers of Mangalore. I must say, I'm very happy to be here. तुमकां सगळ्याक आमचो गोंयकारांचो माये मोगाचो नमस्कार. हांव जेन्ना 17 वर्सांचो आशिल्लो तेन्ना गोंय लिबरेट जालें. So there was no chance that I was an activist during the liberation. But I was very much a witness to what was happening. I consider myself very lucky to be part of many things that has brought about the transformation in Goa. Right from the liberation, I was there to see, to witness. I'm probably one of the few eyewitnesses who welcome the marching army with the tankers in Goa, in the streets of Margao. I also saw how desperate the whites, the Portuguese whites were, Pakle we call them. They were in a rush to, run away from their quarters. Some of them, took off their uniforms and went in the woods and distant places in their vests. So that way I was very lucky to say that I saw how the Indian army marched into Goa. I also saw how Indian army was ill-treating the locals and also taking advantage of our naivety. Because, we were very happy that Goa is getting liberated, and we respected the army men who entered Goa. But when they came, I am a shopkeeper, and when they came to my shop, they almost emptied my shop because all the things were cheap, and we did not know that tomorrow the prices are going to be doubled or tripled. So in a way, they were taking advantage of the situation in Goa, but that's aside. When Goa was liberated, the first thing that we felt and we sensed that though the body of Goa is liberated, it's taken over by the Indian army, or taken over by India, I would say, yet our soul was kept aside, soul that is Konkani.
Okay.
Because by taking over the territory, and when the soul is kept aside, we felt we were at a loss of our voice.
Yeah.
And that is the reason. Particularly, I was in 1961. Goa was liberated in December, and I went to college in Mumbai in 1962 June. So that was total different ambience in Mumbai and in Goa. And then I realized how proud the Maharashtrians were of their language, the Bengalis of their language, Gujaratis who were also my hostel mates and college mates, they were very proud of their language, and why we were feeling shy of talking in our language in front of them. So then I happened to read Chennai Goemba. I'm just telling you about my experience.
Please go on.
And then I realized what we are missing. So soon after my college, during the college I started writing in Konkani. And then after coming back home, that was during the college only. There was the anti-merger issue with
Maharashtra
was heating up,
Yeah.
and I remember when I was in my final year or third year, I don't remember now. There was a rally in Bombay, and first time as a student I addressed the rally.
I see.
In favor of anti-merger, and the next time I was shocked to see my name. I was, of course, not shocked as such. I felt elated that my name was appearing in Times of India as one of the speakers, though. But what I mean to say, I was part of the anti-merger movement. That after the opinion poll, we won, as you know. So we were happy that Goa was free of threat of merger.
Okay. Now, was it? Do you mean to say that the movement started in Bombay or then continued to Goa?
It started in Mumbai. I was in. It was also among the Goans in Mumbai, settlers in Mumbai.
Okay.
And since I was in college, I addressed the gathering. That was
okay. You have seen the Portuguese liberation from Portuguese rule and things after. Do you have for a single time regret that Portuguese left Goa for any reason?
No. That's the reason is. We always felt sooner the better.
Okay.
Frankly,
no, today looking back.
No, how can you? Freedom is freedom.
Yes.
We know the price of freedom.
Okay.
So it cannot be.
Okay.
But to be frank with you, we were not harassed by the Portuguese.
Okay.
Only the freedom fighters who demanded freedom, they were suffering.
Okay.
But any sort of pleasures, sans freedom, have no value, in my opinion.
Thank you.
So that's one thing. And I'm now coming to this Konkani movement.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
being
Please.
brief. The three things that we achieved. First was the recognition of Konkani
Yeah.
by Sahitya Academy.
Yeah.
The second was statehood to Goa, and third was inclusion of Konkani in the eighth schedule.
Yes, schedule.
Though once the central government recognizes Konkani as one of the constitutionally approved languages, we felt very much elated, and the literary movement picked up the pace. But still, our government, which was at dispensation, was not in favor of Konkani. They did not want to be hostile to Konkani because that would, attract adverse reactions from the people. But we had to force the government to bring about the legislation to make Konkani the official language of Goa, and that after 555 days of struggle, we won it. Now, when I say we, I would like to bring to your notice, when you have been mentioning that I was instrumental. No,
No,
I
in the
was
sense you are
just
part
a
of-
part of that, because it was all these achievements are because of the teamwork that the Konkani lovers especially put in their best efforts to bring about the changes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That was about Konkani movement and this thing. To you, Jayant Bab, you are born in, one thing I left in the course of our talk. Jayant Bab is a biochemist by profession. He worked for almost 20 years in Bombay in a pharmaceutical companies. I think when you are thinking about molecules and compounds, medicinal compounds, you are also thinking about how to mix words. And that's how you came to Bangalore. So you are born in Gokarn, then you went to Bombay. After working there for few years, you say Kayakave Kailasavada, means we're in Bombay. But in back home, Kailasave Kayaka,
Gokarna.
Kayakavada Gokarna. How do you negotiate between these two things? How did you negotiate? And later, of course, you went to Bangalore and your current Karma Bhumi. How do cities and places organically differ? They have got different organics. How they reflected in your literature? Most of the writing is on Bombay. I mean, most of the award-winning literature of yours is in Bombay. So can you just elaborate on that? Pretty many questions.
No, fine. Thank you. And namaste, namaskara elrigu. Pattulaka namaskara. First of all, I am very thankful for the session of poetry. Raj, Wilson and Pennard, they really set the mood, so it was so inspiring. Thank you, three poets. It was lovely. So now we are safe because main program is done. So Williams, yeah, thank you. Gokarna is my place, and then I shifted to Bombay. I think in my life, there are three chapters. First is Gokarna, that is 22 years till that. Then next 23 years Bombay. Next 22 years now Bangalore. So that kind of three chapters. But I think they all coexist in me. There is nothing like shifting or this thing. I went from Gokarna to first Kumta, then to Dharwad for my education. That education shifting always for a small town boy, like anybody of us, is a big chaotic thing because three culture shocks. From home to hostel, then from Kannada medium to English medium, then a kind of small town to big town. So the three shocks were there. So the makka kalla tashil malare madhi konkani uleta. Okay, yeah. People will feel I'm taking revenge on British. Still, it is going on. Because I remember my father was teaching us English, Bhadrakali High School, Gokarn. So he was telling us, see, British didn't go by the sacrifice of Gandhi and this thing. They ran away to save their language from you. So forgive that. So Ashil Tawali, suddenly what happens when that kind of a culture shock happens, you are homesick. You don't know what to do. There I cling to debate, poetry, taking part in dramas, and all the writing stories, because I was trying to create my own identity. So अशी तें स्टार्ट जालें म्हळ्यार that's how it started. It all means my entire writing, because when I was in Gokarna I never wrote, and I'm a son of a writer. Yeah, that was another added
Yeah.
problem.
Gaurish,
Yeah,
Gaurish
yes, yes,
Kaikini
yes,
was
right.
the father. Yeah.
Becoming a teacher's son and becoming a writer's son is not an easy thing. Because if you are a teacher's son, if you do well, they say, hey, master maga avanu manushe. If you don't do, master maga agbiಟ್ಟು ನೀನು you are not doing anything. So that way. So if you are a teacher, writer's son, the house is overburdened with that literariness, always writers coming, talking. As a child, I always thought that writers only talk.
Yes.
They don't do anything else. Because people will come to our house and they will talk for hours together. My only job was to go there and count how many people. cha kar. Kit log aye lage pade? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was there. But when I went to Kumta and then Dharwad, the space changed. There I could create a space for myself through writing.
Okay.
So that way, that shift of space was very crucial. And when I went to Bombay, that was a very liberating space for me.
Okay.
Very liberating space.
Yeah, I think you'll have to elaborate on that Bombay experience
Yes,
because
yes, yeah.
much of your this thing on Bombay.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Because I'm called by my friends as a Mumbai chauvinist.
I
Because
see.
for everything I talk Bombay. He says, then you go there, why are you come here? They ask me, Ilyak ban kodu, Bombay antide, hogalle ro. Because Bombay was a liberating space because I was there for almost 24 years.
Okay.
Nobody asked me my caste
Okay.
or religion
Okay.
or in my salary.
Okay.
Nobody asked me whether you own a house or you are in a rented house.
Yeah.
Nobody asked me whether own a vehicle or not.
Yeah.
And if I say yes, vehicle, then he says they will ask whether first hand or second hand.
Yeah.
And if you say second hand, then they will ask whether it is running on gas or petrol.
Yeah.
All these questions I heard first time when I came to Bangalore,
Okay.
22 years. These questions were never heard in Mumbai.
Okay.
That way it liberated me.
Yeah.
And that kind of, you can feel it. I first time felt there is a palpable collective mind in presence in Bombay. मतलब एक mind ऐसा पूरा गाँव, whether you are in Borivali, whether you are in Opera House,
that's
whether
true.
you are in this thing, there is a single mind.
Yes, that's true.
Which is there. And I liked that I have told many times, but for the since I am talking to you for
Yeah,
the first time
yeah.
like this, that Bombaya Hindi has that tere ko mere ko,
Mm.
tu mai. I like that.
Yeah.
That is a city of plurality,
Yeah.
which talks in singular.
In singular language. Yeah.
That's a very beautiful thing. It's like I might be a very, so-called low-grade, some job, but my boss comes, I कह रहे खाना हो गया क्या तेरे को?
Yeah.
ऐसे से खाना हो गया. तुम तो अच्छा है, AC रूम में बैठ के काम करते हम देखो. See, that singular is a very domestic element.
Yes.
I call
Very
it as
intimate.
that is a social domesticity. Maybe you are a bit lucky, you are in a big job, but we are all belong to a kind of a family kind of a thing. So that was very soothing, very reassuring for me. So that's way it, that's how Bombay really
Was the
captured.
transformation difficult from Bombay to Bangalore?
But
Did you
yeah.
miss out on anything?
No, I took revenge on Bombay because I married a Bombay girl.
Oh, okay.
I brought her with me to Bangalore.
Okay.
So
And she readily came.
yeah, she came. She
Okay.
came.
I claim her as a Goan.
Yes, he's a Smita is a Goan, but born and brought up in Bombay.
Yeah.
So this thing, yeah, there was a problem because here again, here, see, people think, say, traffic, metro, or shopping malls or coffee day, that makes a city. It doesn't make a city.
Yes.
There has to be collective mind. I think Bangalore is still evolving.
Yes.
Bangalore still has to evolve as a collective metropolis, which has not happened. It is like a broken milk.
Yes.
Some pockets here, some pockets there.
Maybe it has got to do with it has to put a suburban railway network.
Yeah.
Like I was runs through a
Yes.
like a vein like a thing and
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, and when you are busy, see, I want to work is the thing. When you are working, it's a very more spiritual thing. You are busy. There is no space for any
Other things.
other things. But now the suddenly shift is there. Like I remember when we shifted to Bangalore, one helper woman used to come. आमच्याकडे कामायत आशिल्ली.
Yeah.
तिका चलो तिका job जावक आशिल्लें. He wanted a job. So I told her I will try to get him a job, provided he continues education. So in Malleshwaram, I had a friend who was running a studio.
Mhm.
So I got him a job. I requested him, so he went. Next day, that lady comes and tells me, ಅಣ್ಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಅದು ಮೆಜೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಕಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತದ,
Oh.
ಅವನಿಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಕೆಲಸ. ದೆನ್ ಐ ಸೆಡ್, ಅಮ್ಮ ನಾನು ಬಾಂಬೆಲಿ 2 ಬಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ 2 ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ
Yeah.
ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. So that was thing, that kind of a laid back laziness was the first striking thing.
Okay.
But things change and we get used to it.
Yes.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Thank you.